All right, well, we'll crack on. I think people will probably join us as we're going along. So thanks for joining, guys. Good afternoon. This is the first of the weeks. Every day I'm going to be running these at 12 till 12:30, and I really just wanted to set something up to just give everybody a bit of a forum. So I thought, and these are going to mutate over time as the week progresses, and if we want to carry them on next week, we can do. It was really just a chance to get a number of like-minded people together. I'd probably talk for about 10-ish minutes on a certain subject. Whatever comes out of today, maybe we'll determine tomorrow, etc. But I thought it'd be a really good chance to get everyone together. I'll run through some slides. I'm going to keep it as quick and as punchy as possible, and then give everybody a chance to just raise questions. Type them in the question box if you get questions as you go along, and in the order they'll come in, we'll address them later. And if anybody thinks or can answer these questions, I'll give it a try as well. But if anybody's got any ideas onto how to answer these questions, please just raise your hands, and then we can open the forum and you can just talk amongst yourselves as well, which will be really helpful to everyone that's online. So, okay, so is that okay with everyone? Just to keep everyone engaged, if you can raise your hands, if everyone's okay with that. Brilliant, thank you. Okay, so I just want to get this done. So, as we've said, it's just to get your shit in order, really. So, we're all going through some crazy times at the moment. We've all said the word unprecedented more this morning already than we've probably said in our lifetime. So it's just, everybody's in the same boat, whether you're a one-man band, whether you're, a multi-million-pound business, trading internationally, whatever it is, we're all in very uncharted waters at the moment. So I'm going to run through these slides. Basically, the first thing I've noticed from a lot of business owners, and we're talking about hibernating and mothballing, and again using terminology that we've just never used before. So it's alarming how many people are coming out saying that they're going to put their business into hibernation. So for anyone that saw my LinkedIn post, I don't know, a week ago or something, was basically saying that when a bear goes into hibernation, they fatten up. They spend a hell of a lot of time getting fat, sorting their den out, getting this home that they're going to stay in for a while. Now, this has really come upon us without, I for one certainly didn't see the scale of this coming, and I don't think anyone did, which is why a lot of people have been caught out. So, unless we spend so much time getting fat, getting loads of cash in our business, loads of clients ready to kick off by the time this is all over, then we're not going to be like a bear and come out ready to hit the world from day one, and be up and running. So my point here is really don't just go into hibernation. Even if you are furloughing staff, even if you're slowing things down, we should still be doing lots of activity behind the scenes, to make sure that we're all in a great position for when this all finally clears up, or at least starts to show signs of doing so. So here it's about just, I've always say it, people have heard me say it over and over, the biggest risk you can do is to take, the biggest risk you can take is to do nothing, and I truly believe that. We really need to, take action on this, even if things are changing on a daily basis. It's even more of a reason to take action. So the 4 points I'm going to talk through really quickly today is mindset. And then the second stage is how to, what we've got to do to stabilize and survive ourselves and our businesses, how to communicate our situation, and then looking how we look for opportunities outside of that. So I really wanted to use today just to go back a step or a few steps back to the basics, and just, everybody's in a different stage of where they are personally and where their business is at this moment. We're going to go through a process, whether it's anger and feeling dejected and feeling pretty down about it, and then we feel pretty opportunistic and quite high. It's a bit of a roller coaster, to be fair. So let's have a look at the mindset first. So again, this is something that Henry Ford said: whether you think you can or whether you can't, you're right. Our mindset is absolutely key to this. We have to have a strong mindset here. Like I said, it's going to be a roller coaster. We're not alone. Everybody's locked away, looking at different things, and it's challenging, to say the least. So we've got to stay positive. We've got to stay active. So if you're into your exercise, an active body, active mind, Whatever it is you do, whether it's just, you know, a bit of yoga, whether it's going out for walks, whether it's whatever it is, we have to stay active to be able to stay positive as well. Focus on what you can control and not what you can't. So, you know, it's all going on in the big world outside, and it's pretty scary stuff. So we can't affect that. You know, that's not something that's in our control. But what is in our control is the actions that we take for ourselves and for our business and for our colleagues and clients, etc. So really just stay focused on what we can change and affect. And to remove whatever's sapping your energy. So I speak to a lot of business owners at the moment who are feeling really, really tired, really quite down. And I get them to list out what it is that they're not enjoying at the moment. What is it that's affecting their attitude, their mindset? And if they can make a list and we start to remove those, it really can help, because we have so many things that affect us in different ways. You know, some of us have got families around us, which obviously should be a positive knock-on effect, but you know, that can also be quite harmful to your day's work when you've got kids running around and shouting and stuff. But whatever is sapping your energy, start to remove that from your day. Stay connected to increase your interaction. So that is all of your social media, your telephone, with your family, your friends, your colleagues, all of that. You know, just keep in contact with everybody, and you have to increase that. You can't just keep it to the same level that you was before while we were working remotely. And less is more. So having said staying connected, sometimes it's better just to say, you know what, I'm going to turn the news off. So I listen to the BBC News because I try and get something as impartial as possible, if that is possible. I listen to the BBC News for about 10 minutes every evening, then I turn it off because it just turns into doom and gloom. Social media is as good as it is bad. You know, we all know the effects of social media if we spend too long on it, looking at other people's lives and reading into things that maybe, you know, we don't need to be aware of, or maybe that aren't true. Surround yourself with the right people. So, you know, it's a well-known fact that you are the average of the 5 people that you spend most time with. So, you know, speak to the right people, surround yourself with the right people, those that are positive, those that are moving forward, those that can see an outcome and an end to this issue. You know, it's not all doom and gloom, right? There's some phenomenal opportunities out there. I'm seeing a lot of businesses that are also, you know, thriving at this time. And look for small wins. So I often say that everybody should celebrate their wins. Sometimes they're weekly or monthly, you know, or quarterly, etc. But in a time of crisis, we've got to celebrate them every day, every hour. Some of them are going to be much smaller wins than we would have celebrated in the past, but that's okay. It's really important to celebrate. Just before, as I move on to stage 2, is this okay to pace, guys? I know I'm flying through these. If you can raise your hands if you're happy, or put in a comment if you want to slow down. Good stuff. Thank you. Okay, so stage 2 is to stabilize and survive. So what do? Cash is king. We hear this all the time, right? We hear it even when there's not a crisis. But, you know, it's even more so now. Stop spending. So look at everything that you're spending at the moment, everything that's going out the door. You know, and this comes on to, you know, where can you reduce your outgoings? How do you know, I'm helping people get rent-free. These are unprecedented times, as we said. I've just said that word again. It's quite annoying me now. But, you know, we've gone into these times where nobody's been here before. So when I've got clients saying to me, well, my landlord's never going to give me a rent break. Well, he actually is. I mean, we've just got 6 months on one of my clients, 4 months on another, 50% reduced rates where they're not paid back later. You know, the landlord just wants them to keep their business going. You know, they want to keep their business there. So when we come out of this, you know, they've got a healthy business and they can stay there for the rest of the tenure on their lease. So, you know, look at absolutely everything that you're spending at the moment. Renegotiate everything that you possibly can. Slow things down or postpone. So this doesn't mean that, you know, if you've got an office that's being done up, or you've got new vans on the way, or you've got new branding, or you've got whatever that is, if you can still pay for that and still get that done, now is a perfect time to work on those areas. But if you haven't, don't halt them totally. Just postpone them, just to keep a bit of cash, you know, money that you need to bankroll your business and your personal life, etc. Keep that in your business rather than somebody else's right now. And review your staff. So, you know, this is something that none of us want to do, but we do have to look at it now. Furloughs come in, which has helped some businesses, but it has actually caused some issues with others. So they're furloughing some staff and not others, and the staff that aren't furloughed want to be furloughed, and vice versa. And it's, you know, it is causing a whole new different type of challenge. So, you know, we do need to review staff. Sometimes this is a chance to get rid of, dare I say it, the dead wood in a business. You know, we've been going through some good times, boom times lately, and a lot of businesses are carrying some fat there. So stabilise and survive still. Review your payment terms. Have a look at phased payments. Have a look at deposits. I'm working with clients at the moment how, you know, we're trying to get some money up front. How can we bring in phased payments where as they're doing the work, certain stages of the work, they're getting paid, whereas they would have been paid at the end of completion. You know, it still amazes me how many businesses are 120 days, etc., after finishing the work before they get the money, before they invoice. So, you know, you really should have a look at your payment terms. How can you improve your cash flow? So get credit now while the banks are still lending. That criteria might change in the future. So, you know, if they're still lending and it's not costing much, then get the money to sit there and use it as and when you need it, and before it dries up. That's for your business and your personal side. You know, I'm not saying that you go out and get credit cards at 23% APR, but you know, if there are some loans out there that are pretty competitive with some banks at the moment. And keep marketing and selling. Now, a lot of people stop their marketing, they stop their selling when they go into panic mode. You know, just don't do that. You've got to keep marketing. You've got to keep selling. That doesn't mean by spending thousands of pounds on marketing, etc. You know, we've already talked about social media in the earlier slides. You know, there's so much marketing, there's so many strategies you can use and implement without spending money. Your existing customers are your best customers. You've got to keep these at all costs, right? It's so much, we always know, you know, it's so much cheaper to keep your existing customers and go out and find new ones. Never so, you know, is it more important now than ever to keep those customers, to keep them happy, okay? You really got to keep communicating with them. Look at the government grants and the loans, etc. There's been a lot in the news about that. I'm just flying through these. So communicate. This is the next stage, stage 3. Be a leader. Even if you're a one-person band, you know, you've got to be a leader. You've got to be out there in the market. You know, even if it is virtually, you've got to talk to your team much more than you used to. If they're working remotely, they need, you know, morning and evening stand-ups, you know, 5, 15-minute conversations each evening to talk about who's working on what. Got to talk to your customers a lot more, your networks, your suppliers and your stakeholders, your community. You know, you've got to be that face of your community. So when all of this is over, it's a no-brainer who these guys are going to, who your clients are going to now. You know, the harsh reality is there's going to be less businesses out there at the end of this than when we went into it. So, you know, providing you survive, providing you communicate, you market, you position yourself really well, there's going to be a hell of a lot of clients out there for you to take onto your books. I've already got clients now who are still working in certain industries where they can keep it safe, but their competitors are not. So they're already taking clients now. And if they're doing a fantastic job, then there's no reason why they're not going to keep those clients going forward. The opportunities, stage 4. So this is with, you know, you've communicated everything. Take a step back now and look, just really take a look at your business. You know, really have question absolutely everything, and just think, you know, what can I do better? What do I do now? Don't just take it that we've always done it this way. You know, question everything. I've got clients that have literally radically just changed their business overnight. You know, they've gone into totally different products, or they're serving people in a totally different way. You know, there's so much you can do, and this is where I say review the whole business: product, services, pricing, your delivery, how you staff it, absolutely everything. And I'm not a fan at all of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Just, you know, if something's running perfectly right now, you know, to a point, if it's not a priority in an ideal world, you'd leave it for a while. But there's nothing wrong with looking at it and seeing if it can still be done better. You know. And address your challenges. You know, don't run away from them. I think, you know, it was natural. It's human nature that when something like this goes on, I saw a lot of business owners in denial. Then they went into panic mode. Then they went into anger mode. You know, but what they weren't doing is addressing the challenges. And sometimes you have to go through those cycles. But the worst thing we can do is, back to one of the earlier slides, is do nothing. We've got to address these challenges and not be an ostrich. Over deliver on custom services. This comes back to what I just said about, I've got clients that are out there snapping up clients from their competitors. Keep over delivering, keeping your clients, keeping your existing customers. Just do everything you possibly can to keep these clients right now. Again, I'll put it on here again because you have to keep marketing. You've got to increase it, not decrease it. It's too tempting just to start to tone things down. If you're a sales guy or a marketing guy, or you've got a department that does it, get them to increase, not decrease. But the marketing you do has to change. How you do it, where you're doing it, you've got to be creative. There's more people all over social media now. So that's a good thing in the respect that your audience is bigger, but it's, you've got to do something more creative. You've got to be different of how you're going to stand out and from the crowds. And basically use this time to work on everything that you should have been working on in the last 12 months. I hear it all the time. People have got a massive to-do list. Just don't get the time. They're working in the business. They're just blinkered. Now just take this step back, really use this time. And like I said, some businesses are even busier than before. But if you're not, take the time that you really should have done and do the tasks that you should have done over the last 12 months. And you've got to act quickly. Now, I've had some people say to me, well, there's no point in putting a plan in place because, it's changing every day. I might put a plan in place and next week it's all different. Well, it's going to be a lot easier to change an existing plan than when you haven't got any plans whatsoever. So, you've got to decide and you've got to act quicker than you ever have done before in this climate. And planning sprints. So what I mean by that is pick how you work best. Some people split their days up and work in hour or half-hour sprints, and then they have a break and they do that. It's no different. You've got to work in 60 or 90-day plans. As I just said, the climate is changing every single week, if not day, at the moment. So we've got to make decisions, put a plan into place, get them achieved, get them done, and then move on. If we start planning and thinking that we'll start something in a month's time and get it finished in another month's time, chances are it's going to be out of date before you even start it. So I've put this in really just to highlight that there are cycles in business, just the same as there are in the weather. So, we've come out of a lovely summer, to be honest, recently. A lot of businesses have been booming and we've skipped winter and skipped autumn and gone straight into winter. Now, this is quite a big winter that we've hit right now. But the whole point of this slide is really just to show that there is light at the end of the tunnel. It isn't all doom and gloom. We're already seeing some hopeful and positive stats coming out of some of the other countries that are 2-3 weeks ahead of us. There's no doubt we've got more to come in relation to this coronavirus, but there is light at the end of the tunnel, and there will be spring at the end of this. So I've whizzed through those. What I do want to do is open this up for questions. So if anybody's got any questions, either around those slides or whether they've got questions just around their business or anything at all, I'd welcome that we open this up now.